Martinez here. Good to have you with us. For more information on the show, you can check it out, BillMartinezLive.com. Great to have you here. Lots to talk about, especially with the controversy of Donald Trump and asking the question of Kamala Harris. Is she black or is she, American Indian? I mean, it's interesting because, before I was able to find the clip where she said that she was American Indian, and you go to search it and you can't. So, and we're going to talk about this specifically with Bill Federer, who's going to be coming up. Bill, of course, the creator of American Minute and the historian, one who believes, like I do, that we should hold to the true tenets of history because it's our heritage. It's to help us understand where we've come from. Kamala Harris and the Democrats want us to say, well, forget about yesterday. Let's go forward. No, you can't forget about yesterday. You need to. Where we are today is because of where we were yesterday. You understand? So you just can't abandon that. It may sound like a cute slogan and something that seems like, oh yeah, we're progressive, and we don't want to just sit there and be stuck in yesterday. No, that's not the point. That's maybe your idea, but the idea of yesterday is there's lots of things to be taken from yesterday that are very valuable to our country, that catapult us forward, lest we forget. I mean, because if you just want to forget about yesterday, I mean, why don't you just forget about the Declaration of Independence? Forget about the Constitution. Who needs that stuff, man? That doesn't move us forward, right? But you claim to be a democracy, that you're fighting for democracy. The word salad, and this is the dangerous part of the words that are put out there. And now you've got the vice president, in a sense, who is hijacking culture in a way that Elizabeth Warren did. Remember, she was an Indian, and she took advantage of that, right? And found out that she was like 111th or 1130 or something, some weird number, maybe Indian, kind of deal. And she took that to the bank. So talk about cultural appropriation. And now you've got Kamala Harris, because it's all about pandering to blacks. And of course, the blacks fall victim. They fall right into it. Oh my God, you're disparaging this woman. And Donald Trump didn't disparage, he just asked the question. And you would think, I mean, here you are in a room full of black journalists. You don't care? You don't care if somebody hijacks your culture, but now because it's politically expedient, it seems to be okay. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. If you remember in 2015, what was it? Rachel, the gal that was, I mean, she'd worked her way into the NAACP, as you'll recall. And, and there was, it didn't last too long. They finally woke up and said, no, that's not acceptable. We really can't have her, here. She's really not black. And her parents were the ones that outed her because, they're white. Both of them are white. Said, oh, well, sorry, our daughter's not. I mean, she has a lot of compassion for Black Americans. They, I guess, had adopted 4 black children. And but she decided that the way to help Black America was to act black, and got to the point. I mean, she was so convincing. I mean, it's amazing that she became the president of the NAACP chapter in Spokane, Washington. Okay, so but I guess, all that stuff doesn't matter. It's okay if we rewrite history and make stuff up. But, Kamala Harris is, she says in this one clip, she says, hi, my name is Kamala Harris. I'm Indian American, and my pronouns are, I mean, I could just hear her talking to Putin and President Xi saying, my pronouns are, and, who cares about your pronouns? Nobody cares about your pronouns. But, for her group. And this is why, I refer to her as comma chameleon. But I think that, one of the things that could happen is that maybe you ask you ask the vice president's mother, are you black? And she's going to say, what? Did you fall out of a coconut tree? Right? I mean, what do you, that's weird. No, come on. And, but this is the chameleon characteristic of this vice president, what she's doing in order to appropriate, some cultural alleged advantage. And unfortunately, I mean, here you are, a group full of black journalists, and nobody's curious. Go figure. Oh, but because it came from Trump. Anyway, stay with us. We got Bill Federer coming up next.
If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your health care costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your health care costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-796-3954. 800-796-3954. That's 800-796-3954.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Bill Martinez Live, a program about current events, our culture, our values, our politics, and our future. And now, Bill Martinez.
We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going on. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going on. Stop.
Hey, it's 6 minutes after the top of the hour. Glad you could join us. I'm Bill Martinez, and boy, lots to talk about, huh? So what did you think about that? Was it just Donald Trump being Donald Trump and just irritating people, or is it a valid question? You know, it's like, who is she? And it just seems like the Democrats, for some reason, they love this, they love this mystery, and I don't understand. You know, whether it's Elizabeth Warren, who claims to be an Indian, you've got what's his name from Delaware, Rosenblum, right? Is it Rosenblum? I always get his name mixed up. I don't know why. Maybe because I want to forget him. But he's the one that claimed, some military honor. You know, he claimed to have gone to Vietnam. He didn't go to Vietnam. And the thing that's so rich, about him is because, he said one thing that I thought was very significant. If you remember, he said, falso in uno, falso in omnibus. Okay, I mean, this is like one of those three fingers coming back at you kind of thing, right? Because he was claiming somebody had been lying in one area of testimony. And he's saying, okay, if you're going to lie about that, then everything that you've said is a lie. And I mean, it's like, whoa, I mean, that's like a self-indictment because of what, because of what you put out there. And claiming that you went to Vietnam and you didn't, and to think of all the men who went to Vietnam and served in Vietnam. Now, I was a Vietnam era vet. I didn't serve in Vietnam. My brothers did. But it's such a dishonor to them and those certainly the casualties of Vietnam. I mean, it's just unbelievable that that they would do that to us, but it's what they, unfortunately, and it just seems to be that the Democratic Party, it's like, okay, for them to, I guess, to lie and cheat and steal honor like that. It's amazing. Bill Federer from the American Minute and historian is with us right now. Hey, Bill, good to have you with us. How are you, sir?
Bill, great to be with you.
Bill, I was saying, you're such a historian. And you really protect the integrity of history, for all the right reasons. Kamala Harris and this theme of the Democratic Party is that, we should forget the past and move forward. No, the past is important, isn't it?
Oh, it is. And
Yeah.
one of the socialist tactics is called deconstruction, where you separated people from their past, get them into a neutral where they don't remember where they came from,
Right.
and then you brainwash them into the future you have planned for them.
Mhm.
It's sort of a drive neutral reverse. It's actually a sales technique.
Right.
If I was a toothpaste salesman, the first thing I do is tell you negative things about the toothpaste you're currently using. You're
Mhm.
still brushing with that stuff, haven't you read it'll eat the enamel off your teeth? So you're
Right.
repulsed by it. Now I have you in a neutral, you're open-minded. What are all the toothpaste out there? Then I give you my pitch for this tartar-controlled breath freshener. So it's a drive neutral reverse process. But yeah, you have to first be unburdened by the past. And that's
Yeah.
what followed once.
And the thing is what you're pointing out here, Bill, is routine. They've done this through history, time and time again. There's nothing new under the sun. And here it is. This is being done to us all over again. And I'm saying to our audience, as you are, is, wake up. I mean, you cannot fall, prey to this. I mean, Donald Trump, we were talking about this, Bill, before you came on. Donald Trump just asked the question. He didn't say she wasn't Black. He just said, what is she? Is she Black or is she American Indian? Now, I saw footage, which I can't find because they've scrubbed it now, where he said, well, hi, my name is Kamala Harris. I'm an American Indian. My pronouns are, I think, she and they, or she and them, or something she said. But I can't locate that. And this is what they've done with Kamala Harris, is these things that are inconvenient and that would get in the way of her candidacy are being scrubbed by social media.
Right. Well, actually, Gateway Pundit had a bunch of those clips, and she is talking about being from South India.
Yes.
So it's Indian in it. One is a cooking show that she's on with an actress. And
Yes.
she said, "Oh, you look like half of my relatives, and
Right.
I'm half from southern India, and oh, I love this type of Indian food." And then there's a reporter when she was running for Senate, and the reporter says, "Well, now you could be the very first Indian senator from India."
Right.
Right. So she has been touting that heritage of hers, but one of the things I was studying when I put together my book on socialism was the Cold War, and how the countries of Eastern Europe wanted to set up democracies and republics, and the KGB did not like this. And so they would infiltrate the countries and observe all the groups, and then call some victims, others oppressors, haves and have-nots. And
Right.
then the big part of it was they would co-opt the media. And then they would say negative things about the candidate they wanted to get rid of, and say positive things about the candidate that they wanted to. And so it's called a psychological operation.
Mhm.
And so the actual stealing of the election is relatively easy.
Right.
I've talked to computer people, and the hacking attempts that are there are so sophisticated. They can hack into the military. They can hack into, major corporate ransomware, and freeze the software used for computers for elections. At the best, it's 2 years old.
Wow.
They would have to be constantly updating it continually every day, and they don't. It is old technology the moment it's released, and so the ability to hack those things is like a piece of cake. But the big challenge is getting the people to accept the stolen election. And you see that down in Venezuela, where they do the fraud and the fraudulent election, but the people weren't convinced that the fraud was genuine. And so the people are rebelling against that. So the government has to do a crackdown. And so the challenge for those seizing power is not to do the fraud in the election, is to get the people to be convinced to accept the fraud.
Exactly. Yeah, you've got to be somewhat plausible, I guess, because even like the polling that's taking place now, you and I have talked about this before. The polling can swing dramatically until maybe about a month, or maybe 2 weeks out. Then you watch these polling numbers, and they seem to try. They come down a little bit, and they become a little bit more reasonable. But leading into that, they're off the charts. Like right now, I mean, they're claiming that Kamala Harris is so close to Trump, and in some areas even beating Trump. I mean, really, it was just 2 months ago, Bill, they were maligning her, saying she was the worst candidate, and we can't lose Joe Biden. If we do, we get Kamala. Now all of a sudden, on a dime, they turn, and she's the greatest thing since sliced toast.
Yeah, it's a psychological operation. And again, when you study the Cold War, this is what we've been doing for 50 years.
So no big surprise here.
No, the only difference is it's being done against us on our own soil.
Exactly. And this is why the American people, for those that really believe in America and believe in this democratic republic, we must take a stand against this bill, right?
Yeah, it's critical. I do think that the globalists, people forget the World Health Organization. The first director, Brock
Okay,
Chisholm.
we got to go to break. We'll pick it up on the other side. More from Bill
Home
Federer.
sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459.
How would you like to save money on nearly all your prescription drugs? We've set up a special toll-free number for the RX Outreach Program. They're a nonprofit company whose mission it is to make prescription drugs more affordable to the masses. They don't take insurance, and in many cases, your prescriptions are even cheaper than your co-pays. They carry thousands of different prescription drugs, so whatever you're taking, there's a good chance they have it. No coupons are required, and this is not a discount card. It is pure savings on your prescription drugs. They specialize in generic meds for any chronic health needs you have. Call with your prescription and find out for free how little you can pay for your prescription drugs. Remember, we don't take insurance, so call right now.
800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. That's 800-705-6581.
You know, in these uncertain times of rising inflation and cost of living increases, how can we more than survive? This is why, after considering many gold sponsors, we decided to endorse and personally recommend to you the Genesis Gold Group. You're going to see for yourself that they're a partner that aligns with our biblical values of prudent stewardship. Investing in gold and silver through a gold IRA isn't just about wealth. It's about securing God's provision for our future. Genesis makes it easy to convert your 401k or IRA into a retirement account backed by physical precious metals like gold and silver. Their team has decades of experience helping folks like us preserve our hard-earned savings. That's why I would only trust Genesis Gold Group to help get you back on the gold standard. Call them today, 844-202-4252, for a free consultation. That's 844-202-4252, or go to the website goldwithbill.com.
Are you looking for a natural health solution to improve your mind and body? Greska's Carbon 60 is an all-natural oral dietary supplement that supports your body's optimal health and performance. Studies show that Carbon 60 helps eliminate inflammation, often the root of your health issues. One carbon-rich serving provides your body with a powerful antioxidant to help remove toxins and free radicals. Carbon 60 helps protect your cells from damage and promotes cellular regeneration. Experience the power of Greska's Carbon 60 and say goodbye to pain, inflammation, and fatigue. Call anytime at 720-600-6040, 720-600-6040, or visit c-60.com. That's c-60.com. Greska's Carbon 60. Go to c-60.com.
We're back with you 19 minutes after the top of the hour. Bill Martinez with Bill Federer. Hey, Bill, this breaking news from the National Review is that Russia has agreed to release the Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and the U.S. Marine veteran Paul Whelan. This is all part of a prisoner swap with the U.S., Germany, and 3 other nations. This, according to multiple reports. This is great news for all the families involved here, right?
Yes. I think that we need to work on negotiating with the Russians versus a continual war. And you read the reports of Ukraine and the the meat grinder where they just keep sending their young people to death. And the
Exactly.
polls are that most of the Ukraine people want to arrange a peace, and they view Trump as somebody willing to do that. I was reading in my book for socialism, right? How during the Cold War we would do tactics, and now these tactics are being used against us on our own soil.
Right.
There's a book, and it's by Michael Waller, and it says "Big Intel: How Cold War
Yes.
Heroes
Exactly.
Became
Yeah.
Spy Villains."
Uh-huh.
And so
Yes.
these tactics that we were being used against other countries are now under Obama began to be turned against us. And he pushed through in 2016 the Countering Foreign Disinformation and Propaganda Act. And this gave the government control over the media so they can, for the sake of national security, control the narrative of what's being talked about. But this is a quote out of the book. It says, once upon a time, the FBI and the CIA fought America's enemies at home and abroad. But now they've turned into tools of a growing police state attacking the left's political enemies and spying on ordinary American citizens, even parents who push back against radical public schools. How did we get here? And so it's this gradual turning of tactics that were used for ostensibly patriotic purposes, keeping countries from going into the Soviet orbit. But now they've been turned inwardly on our own population to keep the Democrat Party in power. There's been a purging going on of the Department of Justice, the CIA, FBI, the Secret Service, of people that hold old traditional values. They literally say anybody that's a pro-life Catholic is a potential enemy. Anybody that's a Christian patriot is a potential enemy. And so we see this turning of these agencies that used to be outward focused. Now they're inward focused. And that's a dangerous trend.
Yeah. And here it fits nicely with DEI, right? So this diversity, equity, inclusion mantra that has infiltrated our bureaucracy and has mediocratized the whole process even further. And here we are, Bill, $35 trillion in debt. I think the estimated interest payment now is $1.5 trillion. That's over 30%, Bill. I mean, people with credit card payments and interest rates like that do everything they can to get disencumbered as quickly as possible, but not this government.
Yeah. Tyrants have two tools in their toolbox: fraud and force. Fraud is they take away your freedoms and you let them because you're believing their excuse. In other words, I have to take away your freedom because it's for your own good.
Right.
Taking away your freedom to possess and bear arms, but I'm doing it for your own good. I'm taking away your privacy.
Yeah, because it's not so much you. It's that crazy neighbor of yours, right? It's all part of the package, right?
But when people stop believing the fraud, the only other tool in their toolbox is force. And so this is when tyrants, again, purge their military, purge the law enforcement. Hitler did this. He purged their military of anyone loyal to the Weimar Republic, and he put in his brown shirts. And Lenin did this. He purged anybody that was loyal to the Tsarist structure and put in his Leninist socialists. And so whenever you see a purging of the military, it's being done for a purpose. They're preparing to use it. Right. And so that's one of the dilemmas that people that study history are concerned of. Because
they did that with our military here in the last decade, did they not?
Yeah, I've talked to innumerable officers and generals and colonels where if they didn't push the gay agenda, they were pushed out. And then if they didn't embrace the vaccines, they're pushed out. And if they didn't go along with critical race theory, they're pushed out. There's been a purging of the law enforcement. And that's not done just for fun. That's done to prepare to use it for enforcing their unpopular views. So fraud and force. And
Who's orchestrating all this, Bill? Who's at the
well,
top of this?
yeah, I mean, I would say the globalists,
Yeah.
the people with money, the Klaus Schwab, George Soros, and all. But down on a local level, it's largely Obama
Mhm.
and Hillary. It's pretty well understood that Biden has more or less been a puppet. I had somebody explain to me that when Obama was in office, his staff included Valerie Jarrett, Susan Rice, Anita Dunn.
Right.
After Obama's out of office, he builds a headquarters down the street, unprecedented for that to happen. Who works for him but Valerie Jarrett, Susan Rice, and Anita Dunn? When Biden gets elected, who goes back to their old jobs? Valerie Jarrett, Susan Rice, and Anita Dunn.
Mhm.
And so basically, they've been getting orders from Obama for 12 years, and Biden just was the puppet. There is a little bit of a power struggle. I don't think that Obama wanted Kamala in, supposedly, and anyone can do their own research, but that why did Obama pick Biden for his running mate? And some of the undercurrent is that Biden had dirt on Obama. Maybe that some of his gay relationships in the past or something. But Obama was not in a hurry to endorse Kamala, and it looks like that Biden picked Kamala to sort of get back at Obama. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we
Well,
we
it'll
knew,
be interesting to see what happens at their August convention, right? I mean, this could turn into a bit of drama here.
yeah. There's still people that think that they're going to try to maneuver Michelle or whatever her name is into that position.
Right.
Will be up for watching that closely, but I don't think they'll go easily into the night.
Mhm.
Globalists, they want world government. These are crazy people that think
Right.
the world's overpopulated.
Right.
Um,
Exactly. Mhm.
Bill Gates and others, they literally, it's gone from just sort of strange things they talk about to actually implementing.
Yeah.
And with the techno, they do want to have a one world currency. They want to destabilize the dollar. They've written about this and how that if there's massive inflation, people will want a CBDC, central bank digital currency, and then the government can track everyone. They literally want to cut back the food supply. In the Netherlands, they want to outlaw farms because cows produce methane gas, and these poor farmers are driving their tractors in the streets. They're doing what's called the Great Reset. It's an orchestrated crisis. It's to get people to be in a position of panic where they'll go to the government and say help, and the government says we'll help, but we're going to have to take away your freedoms.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's the same old song, right? Just with a different band. That's all it is.
Yeah. I was reading Pericles.
We got 30 seconds left. Go ahead, Bill.
Oh, okay. Well, Pericles was a leader in Athens, and it was a democracy. And when people talked about ostracizing him, which is voting him out, he let Athens get into a war with Sparta, the Peloponnesian War, so that people would want him in power. So the next things, possibly the people would get us into a war before they'd give up power. But I do want to, my book, Socialism, The Real History from Plato to the Present, covers these things, and my website's AmericanMinute.com.
Bill Federer, you're awesome. Thank you, sir. Take care. Be blessed.
Thank you.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-932-1597. 800-932-1597. That's 800-932-1597. Paid for by the Tax Helpline.
Hey, welcome back. 28 minutes before the top of the hour. Bill Martinez here with Rachel Ehrenfeld. She's going to be joining us in just a second. But you, of course, you've heard the news. Hamas and Hezbollah hit hard. The Iranian-backed terrorist group Hamas and Hezbollah have been hit hard in the past 24 hours. Both groups are enemies of the United States as well as Israel. You will recall recently that Hezbollah fired an Iranian-made rocket into Israel, targeting children on a soccer field. 12 children died. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there would be a severe response. Rachel Ehrenfeld, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us. Rachel is the founder and CEO of the New York-based American Center for Democracy and the Economic Warfare Institute, author of the Soros Agenda. Rachel, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
Okay, so what do you, I mean, we knew that there was going to be a response from Israel. At this point right now, they're not doing an end zone dance saying they're responsible, but it's clear that they are.
Well, they took the responsibility for killing the Hezbollah second dog in Beirut, taking him out and a few others there. And they did not say anything about taking out Hania, but the way they took him out is really fits an interesting futuristic movie. Targeted assassination. They hit him actually in the guest house, in the bedroom of the guest house, where he stayed in Tehran. And hitting him in Tehran was especially important because this is giving a message to the Iranians as well. They could have hit the new president that was sworn in the same day, or the Ayatollah. So we can get you. We know where you are. We can get you. We can kill you. I don't know how this will affect Ayatollah, whose blind hate to Jews and infidels, including America. America is the big Satan. Israel is a small Satan. Has sworn to kill all the Jews and destroy Israel. and America. So I don't know how this is going to affect him, but I'm sure that many security people and others operating in Tehran for the government probably will be killed because they will be accused of wrongfully, because they will be accused of spying for the Mossad, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, this is something that happens routinely, but it's a fantastic hit, and it's a very important hit. Now, there are, of course, in the United States and in the White House, we already heard that, well, this will cause escalation in the region. Anything that if Israel is being hit and it
Yes.
responses, they are immediately accused of escalating the situation. Hamas is never accused of escalating.
Yeah, they're the ones that
Hezbollah is not.
bombs. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, Iran is not accused of escalating the situations. Trying to hit Israel with more than 300 missiles, where the United States and others had helped actually to take down. Israel is always accused of everything. No, Israel should show that they have the power and the will to do, and the ability and the intelligence to do what they have done. And maybe this message will get them think a little bit, but they already promised a very severe penalty to Israel. And Israel is, of course, on high alert for this, so we shall see what will happen. But the Iranians, they sometimes take their time. They are not, if they will not hit today, they may hit tomorrow, next week, whatever. When they see this is advantageous to them.
Exactly.
So they are very, very calculating, and we shouldn't forget, Americans shouldn't forget that they are intended of doing the same in America as soon as they can. And we don't know how many of their soldiers, agents, operatives of Hezbollah and other Iranian terrorist organizations and Palestinians. We already know some have been arrested, seized at the border earlier this week or last week, and Turks. They have many, many agents, and they will use them whenever they can. We don't know how many of them are already here. And so we don't know, and as director of the FBI, Ray, have warned recently several times. Last one was, I think, last week, that all the red lights are blinking because they are expecting terrorist activities. The United States will be hit at home by radical Islamist terrorists, which he didn't say. I mean, he didn't say the phrase. He didn't describe them as radical Islamist terrorists.
Right, exactly.
And especially since Kamala, the anointed, soon to be anointed presidential candidate for the Democrats, had already made a statement that she is against the use of radical Islamist, the words radical Islamist terrorism or the phrase anywhere. So she's continuing the Obama dictate not to use radical and Islam at the same time. So we shall see what happens. But they are going after Israel, and they are not giving Israel, they have not given Israel enough weapons, the proper weapons, and they have been restraining Israel from the get-go. Although Biden went there, but since October, they have been restraining Israel, not allowing Israel to finish the war quickly and efficiently like Israel can and would. If they
you and I talked about this the last time, that, given the opportunity and given the necessary means, this would have ended a long time ago. But Joe Biden and his feckless military advisors and Secretary of State Blinken have really drugged this out. And, but I want to get back to what you said in terms of Kamala Harris saying she didn't want to refer to them as radical Islamists. But okay, so what are we going to do? The reason we said that, because we wanted to segregate the radical from, the moderate, I guess, Islamists,
Yeah,
right?
and you have to identify your enemy. If you don't know who your enemy is, how can you defeat it?
Exactly.
How can you find it? How can you identify it? If you are not using, and this is radical Islam, and we should all be aware of it, know more about it, know how to identify it. People who are demonstrating in the streets of New York and Washington D.C. and everywhere else, shouting Allah Akbar and death to Israel, death to the United States, and
burning our flags.
Hamas,
Yeah, exactly.
they are not all of them are useful idiots, as Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu said. Many of them are actually agents, agents of evil, and we should know about them. And by the way, these demonstrators, we should add also to the useful idiots of Iran, we should add also Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi, who stayed away from the fantastic speech that Prime Minister Netanyahu gave in Congress, not only for the safety and security of Israel, but also for the safety and security of the United States. Exactly. And by the way, the Hamas, the Hezbollah second in command that was killed a few days ago in Beirut was responsible for the bombing of the American barracks, Marine barracks in Beirut.
Exactly.
Killing more than 200 and some Americans and killing many others along the way. Exactly. So America should actually thank Israel for taking him out. There was a reward of $5 million on his head. I wonder if Treasury will send a check of $5 million to the IDF.
Well, we'll wait on that, huh? Dr. Rachel Ehrenfeld is with us, and we'll continue our conversation with her. Hopefully this time we'll get a chance to talk about her book, too. The last couple of times we've wanted to talk about it, but I'm going to make some time, and we're going to set some time aside so we talk about her book, The Soros Agenda. So you don't want to miss that, because you need to be well aware, and you need to own your own knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, as we said. So stand by. More from Dr. Ehrenfeld right after this.
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459. How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're going to love it, and you're going to love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-254-1421. 800-254-1421. 800-254-1421. That's 800-254-1421.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Hey, glad you could be with us. Bill Martinez here, along with Dr. Rachel Ehrenfeld. Her book, The Soros Agenda, she writes, George Soros is a man with billions at his disposal and one of the most powerful networks in the world, whose motto is, if I spend enough, I can make it right. But again, you might ask the question, well, what is right, according to Soros? Dr. Ehrenfeld, why the Soros Agenda? Why did you write the book?
I wrote the book, which I hoped Americans would read before the election, so that they understand how the plans to bring America to where it is today, socially, economically, national security, and other issues, have been planned to be undermined. What kind of plans were there? Since when did they start? And how they were implemented, and what kind of tactics and strategy have been used. If people read the book, they will understand it's not only about America, but it focuses on Soros's activities here. Right. And people will understand how these terrible things had happened, and if you understand what the enemy is doing and how the enemy have been working against you, you may be able to take measures in order to counteract it. Right, certainly not re-elect people or elect people who he has chosen, he and his son and his milieu have chosen in order to run America into the ground. Literally and figuratively. Many now, they are of course big supporters of Kamala Harris. Alex Soros, who is who now inherited the Open Society Foundation, the Open Society Foundations, all of them, they have about $25 billion to their disposal. That's a lot of money. And they are actually shelling it out in order to make sure on millions and millions and millions of dollars in ads, in paying people, in hiring people, in funding NGOs, in funding, you name it, they fund it in order to make sure that Kamala Harris is elected. Alex Soros has been, along the years, seen in many events with Kamala Harris, have been photographed with her many times. His Facebook had many pictures of him with Kamala Harris. And you can find out more about all this at the Soros Agenda, And you can buy the book at Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and other booksellers. Amazon is probably the best. And you can find out more. The book is not long. It is only about 100 pages of text, less, but there are more than 150 pages of sources and references. So this is not, I didn't make it anything up. I cite him a lot, all the time, and I show, okay, this is what Soros said, here is what he has done.
Exactly, right.
And this is really quite scary because I realized what he was up to early on. He started here in 1993 with the Open Society Foundation, Open Society Institute in New York first, changed to Open Society Foundations. And he declared that he wanted to change America and went about to do it. So I looked at what he was doing, and by 1995, 96, I have written articles, including in the Wall Street Journal and many other publications, saying that with his money and his respectability, because people respect him because he's a maverick, he made so much money, he's a billionaire, that with that he will be able to change the political landscape of the United States if he's not challenged.
Yes.
That's what I wrote. And this, I didn't have a crystal ball, but looking at what he was doing, I was able to predict correctly what he's up to and what he's going to do. Unfortunately, not many people paid attention. Nobody paid attention. Oh, here is another billionaire that's doing all kind of things. Well, he used very special methods, very special strategies, and he managed actually to get Americans to leave behind their values, willingness to break the law, accepting all kind of really crazy and weird ideologies, like all kind of racial ideologies and identity ideologies, and men can become women.
Yes.
And you can actually, men can play against women's sports. People should be hired because of their color, not because of their abilities and talents. Release all criminals. Actually, don't arrest them to begin with, but if you don't have a choice and you have to arrest them, let them go. And this is still going on. And about 2 years ago, when Soros was actually, where William Barr, the former Attorney General, had written in the Wall Street Journal that he was worried about how Soros is changing the legal system, criminal legal system in the country. It was late. But Soros responded with another article in the Wall Street Journal saying, oh, I'm not ashamed of doing that, and I will continue to do it. And he did continue to do it. So we have all these prosecutors, judges, anybody who's running for election, funded with the same ideology, like Kamala Harris, no fracking, not eating meat, but not because you want to be vegetarian, but because we will force you to be vegetarian, because cows emit too much gas.
Yeah, too much methane, right, exactly.
You must use electric cars. You must have only government health system, all kind of really radical communist. These are neo-communist plans. And Soros have been promoting all of them and continue to promote all of them. He has even been funding many of the demonstrations that started on October 8, October 9, after Israel had been terribly attacked by Hamas. He has started funding organizations that went to the street demonstrating for Hamas against Israel. This is truly incredible. By the way, the call for demonstrations in the streets and for supporting Hamas came from Ismail Haniya that was just killed yesterday by Israel in Iran.
Right.
So, I mean, that was a very interesting that they were promoting the same goal. Soros have been funding all kinds of anti-American and anti-Israeli organizations for decades, including Palestinian terrorist organizations directly and indirectly, and anti-American, of course, organizations here in the United States and elsewhere. And he's really interested in chaos. And he promised to change the United States. He with the help of Obama, whom he supported big time.
Right.
And now, of course, he supported also Biden. Many top officials in the Biden administration are not only former Obama officials, but also most of them have links with somehow with the Soros foundations, with Soros.
Yes.
And this will continue with Kamala.
Not a big surprise. Not a big surprise because politicians have never seen a wallet they were afraid of, so they'll chase after the money.
Well, but it's not that they are chasing. Very often, if somebody is running for a Secretary of State somewhere, she or he will get a lot of money if they actually promise to follow what instructions they are getting from Soros's advisors, Soros's foundations. So this is what is going on. If you promise not to implement the law, not to enforce the law, to ignore it and release criminals, okay, so you are in. So it's and it's time that Americans know that and realize that. And my book actually describes how it is done. Mm-hmm. It is not that simple. So it is, it's a lot of money. And why does he do that? Well, I haven't spoken to him about that. I know I only read very carefully everything that he ever said, written, published, and it was really cruel and unusual punishment, I have to tell you, because a lot of it is mumbo jumbo.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, but he, like you said, he's got his agenda, and here it is. I mean, he's controlling, as you say, prosecutors, in some cases, attorney generals across the country. And, we saw what played out in New York recently, and it was quite obvious, right?
State secretaries everywhere, judges that are being appointed, people who run for office, small towns, big towns, sheriff. The illegal migration, Soros started with promoting illegal migration back in 1995. He opened before anybody was actually thinking about that. He started by opening offices in LA to provide legal aid to illegal migrants.
Right. Well, Dr. Ehrenfeld, we got to leave it there. We're out of time. Thank you for coming on the show, Dr. Rachel Ehrenfeld, and check out her book, The Soros Agenda. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
BBS Radio TV. We've connected the world. We're like a makeover show for your brain. Warning. May cause an addiction to witty banter, and ability to stop snacking, and spontaneous outbreaks of interpretive dance. Consult your friends before use, as they may become equally obsessed. Use responsibly or don't. We're not your mom. Use responsibly or don't. We're your mama.
Well, hello there. Check this out.
You're
listening to BBS Radio TV. That's right. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Guess what? Best station you've ever heard of. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm me, huh? I'm saying that because it's the truth. Other radio programs ain't got nothing on us, huh? I'm putting BBS radio TVs on all your stations. That's right.
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459.
BBS Radio TV. If it's not mainstream, it's on BBS Radio TV. A place for answers.
Well, good morning, America. Bill Martinez here. Good to have you with us. Hey, coming up the second hour, John Karch from Americans for Tax Reform. He is the Vice President of Communications, and he's pinch hitting for Grover Norquist, and he'll be on with us and talking about Kamala Harris's reelection campaign, hitting the trail. I mean, it's kind of amazing. You would think that this would not sell, but somehow, I guess in Democratic circles, being taxed more resonates. I don't know. I mean, it's like, really, are you kidding me? I mean, and the kind of tax increases they're talking about really put America at a disadvantage. And they're talking about, manufacturing and basically trying to offset some of the ideas that Donald Trump has already put out there and has done. And every once in a while you hear, some kind of proposal that they're offering, but for the most part, it's, they're going to bash Trump and of course, right now they're having all kinds of fun because of, what he said and, how dare he, question her blackness. It's like, and at a journalistic school, of black journalists, and they have no curiosity to even look into this. They're just offended, offended that somebody would question somebody's heritage. Well, Kamala Harris herself said she's American Indian, and American Indian is not black. Maybe she has dark skin, but she's not black. And right now, I guess if enough black people say she's black, I guess she's black. I guess that's up to you. But even still, I mean, for somebody who claims to be black, what has she done for the black community? I mean, in California, which I happen to be here and I'll be here for the next couple of days. She decimated, black families. It was unbelievable what she did and how she decimated them by putting their husbands and fathers in jail, for a minor offense. I mean, it's kind of amazing what she was able to do, and quite shocking. But anyway, that's what she did. But I think like 1,800, something like 1,800 fathers in jail, not being home with their families for a goofy. And then fast forward, she's posting bail for real criminals that are doing some serious damage, burning down buildings and destroying property. She's rather confusing. I think that her mother would probably question and say, "What's wrong with you? Did you fall out of a coconut tree?" I think that's what her mother used to ask all the time of her. What'd you do? Did you just fall out of a coconut tree? Maybe. I don't know. But as we try to figure out who Kamala Harris is, there's some people that have it figured out. There's some people that are rewriting history and doing everything they can to keep the truth and nothing but away from the consent of the governed. We should have the consent of the governed and should be aware of who is in charge and who's representing us, right? And how they're representing us. But, right now, identity politics, especially from the Democratic Party, that's why when Trump asked the question, it's like, whoa, man, you really went into a hornet's nest on that one. I think it's a fair question. And it really indicts those journalists at the black, the black meeting there, the Journalists Association, because here they are, they don't have any curiosity, and they're in a sense participating in this cultural confiscation because basically that's what it is. I mean, she's confiscating their culture, and so, but that's not a problem because they perceive her as being black, and that's the way it'll be. So, hey, you'll, I'm sure in the coming days it will still be an issue on all the places that where they kind of garner and chew on this kind of stuff. So get ready for more fun. After John Karch, we got Dr. Adam Friedman talking about eczema. I mean, it's amazing numbers here. Something like 9.6 million U.S. children and 16.5 million adults live with eczema. And he's got some good news to share. And then we're going to wrap up the hour with Evie Bear Carroll. She's the host of Movie Guide TV, and she'll be here with an update on some, movie reviews and latest commentary coming out of movieguide.org. So we got all that and a whole lot more. Hey, just for you. This is what it's all about, is to help you expand your knowledge, to own your own knowledge. Okay, don't do it just because we said so.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-536-4436. That's 800-536-4436. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-536-4436.
Getting America back on track. Bill Martinez live.
6 minutes after the top of the hour. Good to have you with us. I am Bill Martinez, and is this John? John? No, it's Grover. Grover's here. Well, my goodness, I was told John was there, but hey, it's great to have Grover Norquist with us. He is the president of Americans for Tax Reform. Hey, Grover, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. John wanted to remind me to share with all your viewers and listeners that at but Kamala-nomics, Kamala and then nomics, at Americans for Tax Reform's website, Kamala-nomics gives you every day at 5 o'clock. We put up something that walks through Kamala Harris's tax policies. And up now is one where she's asked, well, if you have a carbon tax, which Kamala has endorsed, that will go to consumers. And she said, well, that's no reason not to do it. So she does know that carbon taxes are not paid by some guy named Mr. Carbon.
Right.
They're paid by people who drive cars and heat their homes and use electricity. And she just doesn't care that this will raise prices on the American people. It's a level of contempt for middle America that
exactly
you don't usually see so honestly shared.
What a goofy answer. I mean, I've been using the statement because her mother said this to her when she was a little girl. Like, what did you fall out of a coconut tree? Remember she told us about that. And some of the stuff she comes up with, it's like, Kamala. I mean, I wish I had a soundtrack of her mother saying, "Did you just fall out of a coconut tree?" Mm-hmm. Right? That's bizarre.
Yeah. So there is this effort by many Democrats to simply imagine that there's an imaginary place that taxes can come to, because they don't want to have to. It's one thing if you say, I've got a great new spending program, it's so valuable, let me tell you, I'm going to steal your money and spend it. Right. For that, they know perfectly well that the kind of new welfare programs and spending programs for their friends, and some of it just blatant corruption, there's no interest from the American people in having that happen. They don't want to pay for it. But if they believe that some imaginary person is paying for it, they go, okay. And that's where only rich people and only corporations will pay taxes. Obviously, if you tax a company, a business, a grocery store, manufacturing plant, they have to reduce wages. That's the number one thing that happens, according to studies of all nations. Corporate income tax ends up, because if the company doesn't have money and they spend 70% of their money on wages, where do you think they have to cut? There isn't any place else to cut. So they go wages go down. That's what the corporate income tax does. Prices can go up, and people who save for retirement will find their 401ks, their IRAs, their pension worth less because of the corporate income tax. And yet politicians want to act as though that was free money. And they certainly want to say, I'm going to tax corporations instead of you, when what they're really doing is, I think you're so stupid that you don't know that when you raise taxes on the grocery store, that's why the price of grapes goes up.
Yeah. Well, I think that we've gotten a real practical lesson in these last 3.5 years under Joe Biden, because to your point, this is exactly what's happened. This is all causal because of Democratic policies. And so why would you want more of the same? Right?
Well, yeah, the left has decided they must sit in some room. I don't know if they're 10 people or 100 people, but it's not very many. They sit in a room and decide, we'll go with Joe out of nowhere, right? And then he gets elected. They hit him in the basement. So this idea that his having cognitive difficulties and an inability to express himself or think carefully or be able to articulate is something new that happened last month. Why they hit him in the basement so that he wouldn't talk about the taxes he wanted to increase, the spending he wanted to increase, the regulations he wanted to increase, the costs to your life and everyone's life in America that he wanted to make worse. So they just hit him up and said, don't say anything, you might win. He barely got across the finish line, narrowly in a bunch of key states. And as a result, then they turned around and then they decided, well, we can't hide it anymore. So those Republicans or honest journalists who had said there seems to be a problem were viciously attacked 2 months ago for saying anything. Then all of a sudden, the New York Times, the Washington Post announced, well, he's a doddering old fool, and we all know this. We didn't know it last week, but now you all know it. You have to know it. If you don't know it now, you're bad. If you knew it before, you're bad. I remember when they did this with the Soviet Union. If you were against the Soviet Union before it fell, you were a warmonger, because everything that Reagan did to build up our national defenses and take the Soviet Union threat seriously, and grew our economy. We cut taxes, their economy got weaker. Their economy collapsed because it's socialist, because it's communist, because that stuff doesn't work, and because they were spending so much money on weapons, which the left said they weren't. And then as soon as it happened, the left go, oh yeah, we knew that was going to happen. That's why we didn't need to do all the things that Reagan did to win the Cold War, because it was just going to happen on Tuesday anyway. And they just flip on a dime. Joe Sobran used to refer to the conservative writer used to refer to this as the hive. That how bees they don't talk to each other, or at least not that we can see, but somehow they all know, they all communicate. The honey's over there, and what are we supposed to do? You're supposed to do that. I'm supposed to do this, and it just works. And the left has a hive where as soon as something happens, you can predict that all the parts of the left will fall in line overnight, even if it's a complete change of position, 180 degrees position.
Well, yeah, because what was it? 2 months ago, they're scared that Kamala Harris would replace Joe Biden, and we just had to keep Joe Biden loaded up with formaldehyde or anything just to get him across the finish line, because we just couldn't deal with Kamala Harris. And then fast forward 2 months, and she's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yep. And well, Joe Biden said he picked her because she was an African-American woman. He said, I'm going to pick an African-American woman. To mention that now is to be a bigot. It was not a bigot, evidently, when Joe Biden said he was going to choose on racial grounds. But to point out that he did what he said he was going to do, then you're the bad guy. So they've really sort of written the rules. So they do an outrageous thing. You mention it, and all of a sudden you're responsible for the outrageous thought.
Right. Yeah. Well, he really doesn't understand genetics very well because she's not much of an African American. I think if you asked her mother if she was African American, she'd say, you must have fallen off a coconut tree, because I'm American Indian. We're American Indian. We're not African. But you see, again, that only reinforces the idea of Joe's incapacity, right?
Well, look, the whole point of being an American is the color doesn't matter.
Right.
We judge people based on their character and what they accomplish. People are rewarded by how much hard they work, not by what they look like. And the Democrats have gotten into this business of deciding to allot things based on race, racial preferences, racial quotas. That's wrong. That's evil. That's unconstitutional. And we should fight it. But the left wants to do that for their political reasons. So they're caught up going, well, of course we make our decisions that way, but it's not racist when we make the decisions based on race. But if you mention that we do it, that would be racist.
The pandering is nonstop, isn't it?
Yeah, I think most America is beyond that. There are a few Democrat leaders who still think that stuff works, less and less every day.
Exactly. Got to go to break. More from Grover Norquist after this. Stay with us.
If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your health care costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your health care costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-796-3954. 800-796-3954. That's 800-796-3954.
Send it in today, Thursday?
How would you like to save money on nearly all your prescription drugs? We've set up a special toll-free number for the RX Outreach Program. They're a nonprofit company whose mission it is to make prescription drugs more affordable to the masses. They don't take insurance, and in many cases, your prescriptions are even cheaper than your co-pays. They carry thousands of different prescription drugs, so whatever you're taking, there's a good chance they have it. No coupons are required, and this is not a discount card. It is pure savings on your prescription drugs. They specialize in generic meds for any chronic health needs you have. Call with your prescription and find out for free how little you can pay for your prescription drugs. Remember, we don't take insurance, so call right now.
800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. That's 800-705-6581.
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-745-9090. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, Anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-745-9090. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-745-9090.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center may not be available in all states.
Campaign that they want the bill.
19 minutes after the top of the hour, fresh and independent, just the way you like to hear from us. I'm Bill Martinez. He's Grover Norquist, the Americans for Tax Reform president, America's preeminent center-right organization and expert on taxes. Grover, it's so frustrating to want to, you think, okay, maybe we'll hear some policy statements, from Kamala Harris, and what you hear are statements that would just devastate the country, would compromise us on the international stage. Trump wants to bring manufacturing back to America, which it should be, and we would do very well. And Kamala Harris and the Democrats are doing everything they can to put a stick in the spokes of, re-energizing this country on many levels, whether it has to do with, with coal and the energy sector or manufacturing and lots of jobs.
They're not interested. This is the Democrats. This is Biden and Kamala Harris. They're not interested in economic growth that they don't have control over. So when the Republicans tend to just cut taxes on everyone, cut taxes on all businesses, they go, no. We want to take money from some people and hand it to three businesses over here. And then the three businesses will give us back big contribution monies. I was looking at some numbers in terms of who gives money to the governor of California. They tend to be people who have contracts with the government of California. And you could say it's corrupt, but it's really extortion. It's not, I give you money, I get the job. It's I earn the job in a bid. You want to keep the job, sucker? Start writing checks to the governor. Increasing reports out that the governor's calling those people and making those kind of threats, which is why the donors tend to come from people who have contracts with. We used to try and protect workers, government workers, from being asked for government money, for money for government, because that's such an obvious corrupt possibility.
Exactly.
But that's why the Democrats, they love projects where the government puts some money in and says, who would like it? And then the bidding is not who will do the best job making widgets. Why should the government be doing widgets? But anyway, whatever it is that the government thinks they're doing, they want to know who gives the biggest kickback in terms of money. You used to be able to check to see how corrupt a city was, to see how long it took them to get cable, because cable companies would come in and bid, and in DC they'd bid, they'd give it to the lowest bidder, and then the lowest bidder would come up with a new bid, which included all the money they were going to give the politicians, and then everyone would sue everybody. So since what they were really looking for was not the best cable company, not the fastest, not the least expensive, not the one that could do it sooner than somebody else, but the one that would give the mayor and his friends the most money. That's a different level of competition. Politicians love it because then they stand there and they cut the ribbon as if they did something, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is why the American people are so frustrated, Grover, because they think they're pulling one over the eyes of the American people. And we're seeing this. We're getting it. I mean, it's simple. Just follow the money. And you see, I mean, it's almost like with these politicians, I wish there'd be a disclaimer whenever they come on TV that there would be a sponsor list of who supports them, right?
I mentioned the Kamalanomics website link at Americans for Tax Reform, ATR.org. Every day gives you a good list of new outrages from her. And what's amazing is the number of taxes she's been for, the number of times she says she's going to ban fracking. And I'm now reading in the newspaper, well, her campaign says she's not going to. How about she has been saying it over and over and over again in previous elections? That is her position. And then they float somebody else out there to say, well, maybe it's not anymore. And then that's supposed to end conversation about the fact that she either lied before or she's lying now. I think she's telling the truth when she said she's going to ban fracking, because that's what she wants to do. That's what her donors want. That's what her hard left supporters want. And now she realizes, gee, there are people in Pennsylvania. If she gets elected, she'll destroy the lives and livelihood of thousands and thousands of people in Pennsylvania and in Ohio and in states. There are not many oil states.
She's used to doing that, though, Grover. She did that in California, and it's just one of those inconvenient issues that she deals with in her world of politics. The fact that it has this kind of impact on fellow human beings and citizens is irrelevant. Because she basically is a Marxist. I mean, that's clearly it. They have no compassion, and so what do you expect? I mean, Joe Biden was that way. She was that way, and as a senator, I was amazed, Grover, when I found out that she, believe it or not, as a senator in 4 years, she was involved with 164 pieces of legislation. Do you know how many of those passed?
How many?
0.
Well,
0. I mean, that's how radical you are, right? I mean, you couldn't even get one of 164. To me, that's quite telling.
But it's either too radical for the rest of the Senate, or too weird, or too incompetent. It could be any number of things. But my guess is she was out helping very left-wing causes, saying, I'll endorse your bill, I'll sponsor your bill, in order to get the AFL, the big labor union bosses' endorsement. The union said, if you want our endorsement, you have to endorse the PRO Act without reservations. And you saw Kelly, the left-wing senator who pretends to be a moderate out of Arizona, who had said, I don't know, I like some things in the PRO Act, I'm not sure, when he was running for office in Arizona. Now he's auditioning to be vice president. He says, no, I'm done. Whatever the unions want, I'm with the PRO Act. And so he's completely folded. Of course, he was lying the whole time. He was always going to do what the unions wanted, but he just didn't feel comfortable saying it out loud. He did get union support, which means they know he promised everything to them. Any Democrat who's endorsed by a union has promised the unions they would end right to work, to force people to be union members, to make it difficult or impossible to be an independent contractor. Like a lot of truckers are independent contractors. The Teamsters can't get union dues from an independent contractor. What good is that, as far as Kamala Harris and the Democrats are concerned? They don't get payoffs from independent contractors. They get payoffs from unions who unionize truckers.
Grover, I'm telling you, this is I just hope the American people aren't buying into this stuff. I mean, the scrubbing of information. This is why your Kamalanomics is important, so people can see. I refer to her as a comma chameleon. And every time, whether it's you or anybody else I talk, here's all these reversal of policies, and and you're left with a question: who the heck is Kamala Harris, right?
Well, and they're also doing the interesting thing is, when she was vice president, she's terribly important. She's the border czar. Unlike other vice presidents, she's doing things, and she's important, and she's part of everything that Biden's doing. And then now that Biden's not running, and they want to run away from they're hoping that if Biden isn't on the ticket, that Bidenomics isn't on the in the election, that his lousy economics isn't part of the election. And we'd go with Harris and go, well, now that other stuff isn't true, because she had nothing to do with this administration. She wasn't the czar for the border. That's something Republicans invented. Of course, you've seen one after another, every establishment, newspaper and magazine and television station referred to as the border czar, to make her be important, to make her sound important, to help her out. Now they're denying it, that they ever said it, or apologizing.
And it's so ridiculous because we have video. And, MRC did a video montage of all these reporters, over the years who had referred to her as the border czar. See, this is the thing, with the Democrats, once the talking points come out, they're out there. It's just like, what was it earlier this week? Everything was weird, right? And everybody, I mean, all the talking heads, I mean, you could see real clearly who were the propaganda, operatives for the Democratic Party, right?
There must be a call in the morning where they tell everybody what to think and what to say out loud.
Yeah.
We're all thinking this, but we're not saying it out loud yet.
Yeah,
We're
it's
saying
that
it loud on Tuesday.
you're right. It's that beehive effect,
Yeah.
Robert. I think you've got something there. Unbelievable. Robert Narquist, as always, I appreciate you coming on the show. He's the ATR president, America's preeminent center right expert on taxes. Thank you, Grover.
Thank you.
You got it.
This report is sponsored by IBM. As companies race to implement generative AI, CEOs face inherent organizational challenges that can slow progress. A new study from the IBM Institute for Business Value reveals most CEOs believe Gen AI success hinges on people's adoption, yet 61% say they're pushing their organizations to adopt Gen AI quicker than some people are comfortable with. Despite these challenges, CEOs see Gen AI as more of an opportunity than risk, and 64% say their organization must take advantage of technologies that are changing faster than people can adapt. Salima Lin, Senior Partner and VP, Strategy and Thought Leadership, IBM Consulting.
Generative AI is a make or break moment for CEOs, but many employees see it as something that's happening to them and not a tool that works for them. To successfully scale AI, CEOs must focus on their workforce and cultivate a culture that empowers people to responsibly use AI to reimagine their work.
Thank you for the coffee. I hear good spirit. Oh, it's good. It's like that. Hey, I have never used
Set up a special toll-free number for the RX Outreach Program. They're a nonprofit company whose mission it is to make prescription drugs more affordable to the masses. They don't take insurance, and in many cases, your prescriptions are even cheaper than your co-pays. They carry thousands of different prescription drugs, so whatever you're taking, there's a good chance they have it. No coupons are required, and this is not a discount card. It is pure savings on your prescription drugs. They specialize in generic meds for any chronic health needs you have. Call with your prescription and find out for free how little you can pay for your prescription drugs. Remember, we don't take insurance, so call right now.
800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. That's 800-705-6581.
I said I'm feeling better. Yeah.
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459.
Welcome back, America. Bill Martinez here. Great to have you with us, sharing a part of your day. For more information on the show, you can check it out, BillMartinezLive.com. You know, this is an amazing figure. I was surprised to see this number, that 9.6 million children in the United States, 16.5 million United States adults live with eczema. Now, we're going to be talking about how to combat those summer flare-ups and to control the mighty E, if you can say, because, summer should be filled with days at the beach and picnics in the park and road trips with friends. Unfortunately, if you're struggling with eczema or atopic dermatitis, a chronic recurring inflammatory skin disease, the heat and summer products can cause a flare-up, as you may be aware. Now, living with eczema can be difficult and frustrating for those caught in a relentless cycle of chasing flares. Now, eczema presents as red and intensely itchy rashes that can occur anywhere on the body, including sensitive areas like the face and eyelids. Itch is the most reported and most burdensome symptom of eczema, negatively impacting quality of life, can even cause sleep disturbances, as you can imagine. The good news is a new once daily steroid cream could help manage and control eczema so you can enjoy your summer. And here to tell us all about it is Dr. Friedman, a board certified dermatologist. And he's going to be talking about this new treatment for eczema and how children and adults can manage their disease and maintain clear skin. Dr. Friedman, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Thanks so much. Great to be here.
Well, I got to tell you right off the top, I was amazed at the number of people who are impacted by eczema.
Yeah, no, this is the second most common inflammatory skin disease, literally just behind acne, though it's certainly catching up. And I love that you call it the mighty E, because its impact on quality of life, its sleep, on relationships, on school, on work is absolutely mighty. But what's also mighty is the pipeline and the investment in understanding the underpinnings of disease, which then translates into better ways to get people feeling better and clear.
Well, help us all understand. I got to imagine, the whole spectrum of people who are infected and affected by eczema. Maybe they're affected and they don't even realize it. So what exactly is eczema, and what are some of the symptoms that, the patients should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, because I think there's a wide array of what people might think it is. And I find that often when you see a pink or red or purple scaly rash, a lot of folks will automatically assume it is an infection and, I just need an antibiotic or something to treat it. And often atopic dermatitis, the most common form of eczema, is misdiagnosed. And the diversity of clinical presentations is massive, and that can create some confusion. But I find one of the most helpful clues when it comes to making this diagnosis is the unique itch. Eczema has an itch that feels amazing to scratch, but that amazingness is not so amazing, because the more you scratch, the worse it gets. Not to mention there's finger pointing. Well, if you just stop scratching, it goes away. Absolutely not true. And that adds to the burden of disease. But that's why you need someone like me or a dermatology practitioner who can identify this, make the right diagnosis, and get someone on the right path for an ongoing management strategy. We do not have a one and done here. This is a chronic condition, and therefore you need an ongoing strategy, which includes anything from over-the-counter products, prescription topicals, and even when appropriate, systemic medications that work from the inside out.
Yeah, it's just not fair. When you have an itch, you want to scratch it. And especially, like you said, when it feels better, but then, that's only for
Martinez. What
going downhill.
You wanted to talk about some other stuff, but I never got anything from you.
Yeah, no, and to your point, to say to a patient, just stop scratching, or, even just say, in front of you, stop scratching.
I'll stay out of that one. But,
completely
let me
undermine
know what you want to
experience, because you think they want to be scratching.
Else,
of course not. And so I think it's really important.
If we take the abortion
how this condition remains, they have it to be aware. But I think in general, we need to be aware of how impactful this condition is, so we can support those who suffer, rather than make them feel even more ostracized with their skin condition.
Bible transforming.
Exactly. Dr. Freeman, what is it about the summer months that seems to exacerbate the eczema flare-ups?
Yeah. So this is a year-round condition, and as opposed to winter where it's dry wind, cold wind or dry heat inside, it's the opposite here. The physical heat and the sweating that ensues, but also we're using a lot of products to protect ourselves from the sun and from bugs. All of these things can uniquely affect individuals differently, whether it be if you have an active flare, it can make it worse, or could it just be the tipping point to cause a flare that's really on the tipping point to really become robust, and of course cause a lot of itching and a bad impact on quality of life. So there are a lot of features at the summertime that can make things worse, or even exacerbate what's something that's already active, which means you're not going outside and having a good time.
Yeah. Dr. Adam Friedman,
board-certified dermatologist and professor and chair of dermatology, serves as residency program director, director of translational research, and director of the supportive oncodermatology program in the Department of Dermatology at the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Services. That is a mouthful. It's all to say that Dr. Friedman knows what he's talking about, and right now he's going to share with us what we need to do in order to care for our skin if you have eczema.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Clearly, I don't like to sleep much. But yeah, there are some basic principles that apply to everyone. And it's going to be minimizing soap use. And when you use soap, using one that's meant for eczema, I'll say it on the bottle. Most importantly, applying a moisturizer to damp skin to lock water in, because that water is needed for the skin to make itself correctly to protect us from the outside world. Now, while those are great approaches, often they're not enough. And that's where FDA-approved medications, whether it be topical or systemic, are going to be of the most importance. And the most recent one is going to be Zoryve or roflumilast 0.15% cream, which can be applied once a day to affected areas for mild to moderate eczema and for 6 years and up. And I think that's a really important point because this condition does not discriminate. It affects all ages, all races. You name it, you can get it. If you got skin, you can have it. And to your point, given how common it is, we need targeted options to control this condition.
Exactly. So how exactly this new medication that we're talking about right now, how is this helping eczema patients?
Yep. So I think first and foremost, and I'm thinking back to even 15, 20 years ago where we had very few FDA-approved options. Saying something's FDA approved means that there was an investment in research and innovation specifically to help a specific patient population. And that really is reassuring and validating. But then also along those lines, when you have an FDA approval, it means that you had a substantial number of individuals who were studied. So we know how this works. We also know what safety issues are there. And overall, from the clinical trials, which included over 1,000 individuals, we know that this medication is effective. We know, for example, that after just one application in 24 hours, we can significantly reduce that itch we talked about. But we also know it's well tolerated. While we did see in some individuals increased risk for nausea, headaches, and site pain from application, this was in only a small percentage of patients. So it's effective, it is safe, and really importantly, it's steroid free, which means that you're not really constrained to the limitations of topical steroids in terms of how they're used over time. So all that together really gives confidence to the eczema community, but also gives us as doctors an option to use over time to treat a chronic disease.
Whether it's children or adults, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, Dr. Friedman, as we wrap things up here, remind everybody where they can go for more information, and also let's summarize again the skincare ideas that you shared with us in order to protect ourselves from eczema and to get on top of this.
Yeah, and then that's exactly it. We got to get ahead of it. We're not waiting for that next flare. So to get more information about Zoryve or atopic dermatitis, you can go to Zoryve, ZORYVE.com. And to recap some of the key features of how to manage this, less is more with soap. And of course, it's going to be a mild soap at that. Moisturizer to damp skin, and get in to see a board-certified dermatologist to discuss the incredible options we now have available that are FDA approved and meant for this condition.
Well, Dr. Adam Friedman has been our guest, board-certified dermatologist with some great ideas in getting ahead of eczema. Dr. Friedman, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it. Take care.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
Electronics section asks for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system and select the new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
In a single moment, everything can change. When a player's sudden cardiac event brought a national football game to a halt, it shone a spotlight on the importance of CPR readiness. Now, With youth sports in full swing, the American Heart Association is rallying parents and coaches to be ready in an emergency. To be ready, learn hands-only CPR. It's a skill anyone can learn in minutes. Visit heart.org/hands-only-CPR and become a lifesaver today.
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459. How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
Hi, everyone. Michael Horn for GetTheTea.com. Summer heat getting to you? Go to GetTheTea.com and take advantage of their first ever semi-annual sale on all of their herbal cleansing teas. Buy 2, get 1 month absolutely free. Get the Tea is available in natural, peppermint, pomegranate, and senna, the added strength cleansing tea. Go to GetTheTea.com. Enter the code MikeT and receive free shipping, too. GetTheTea.com is a family-based and owned company that has been in business over 15 years. They also carry unique supplements that you won't find in stores for your immune system, your glucose levels, and vitamins, too. GetTheTea.com. It's one of the best sales of the year, so don't wait. Buy 2, get 1 free. Go to GetTheTea, T-E-A, GetTheTea.com. Enter the code MikeT for free shipping. GetTheTea.com. Mike T is your code. Go to GetTheTea.com.
Hey, we're back with you 14 minutes before the top of the hour. Evie Bear Carroll is with us, the Movie Guide TV hostess with the mostest. Hey, Evie, how we doing?
Doing well.
The kids are all accounted for?
They're all eating breakfast, so you'll hear them, grabbing for the orange juice and,
doing all the things.
Poking their sister. And...
Hey, we love the kiddos, so they're always welcome anytime here. Hey, let's take a look at, the movies that you're reviewing here at movieguide.org. You got the Firing Squad, of course.
Oh, The Firing Squad is an interesting movie. Kevin Sorbo's in it, and it's about it's based on a true story about 3 prisoners on death row in Indonesia, and one of the prisoners, Kevin Sorbo stars a pastor, and he brings another prisoner to Christ, and so it's kind of an interesting story because it talks about death row and what we should do during those instances. And but it's done pretty well. It's a lower budget movie, but it's interesting and entertaining and obviously very redemptive.
Yeah, and I think for people, they may look at it and go, well, wait a minute, in terms of redemption, that there are consequences that, must be paid. And not all things happen the way you would want them to happen. But in this particular movie, they happen at a supernatural level. The level of freedom that these inmates experience as a result of turning to Christ allows them to go in front of the firing squad with peace immeasurable, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting debate, but the main character that's become Christ, he was a drug dealer. So that has a lot of ramifications, and a lot of people are affected by that, and families and homes and people's lives. So you're right. I mean, it's wonderful to know that he became a Christian. But I know some people debate the death sentence, but I'm there with you in terms of, the crimes that were done were pretty intense crimes.
Yeah. And for that country, I mean, every country has its own, their own way and the way of dealing with, drugs. And in this particular country, it was death. I mean, there was just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No appealing whatsoever. As you say, this is a true story, and the United States government was doing everything they could to appeal to get the sentence lifted, from this young man. Didn't happen.
Yes, I mean, I haven't read up on the true story, but I think it's so interesting that and I know there's a lot of, and I'm sure you've interviewed or talked with a lot of groups in prisons that are working to talk to inmates about Jesus. Right. And I know that they have times of worship and Bible study, and that's very effective. And one of the key things in there that they can do aside from their restrictions is, read the Bible or go to the church services. So, that's a very wonderful thing. And we have a group here that makes, great food from former prisoners, and just fabulous food. It gives them, a second life. And so, because it's a lot of times it can be hard to find jobs afterwards, but so it's an interesting thing. And there's a lot of television. It seems like there's a lot more television programs even going in. There's a new television program where you can go in as a citizen to a prison and try to see who the leader is and report it back to the FBI, the cops. And so that's really interesting. I don't think I would go in as a citizen.
That's pretty risky, because the whole justice system behind the bar is much different than the outside. I don't know. That's and this is what reality TV kind of thing.
I wouldn't do it. But they go in and they look like they're prisoners, but they're finding out information, and they'll be in there for I think 30 or 60 days, a significant amount of time. Yeah. And then they report back, and they can't be found out. Well, that would be, that I couldn't sleep at night if I did that.
That's what I'm saying, plus being subjected again to the culture, the prison culture. You're not necessarily going in there and you're ending up with the Bible study group. Although, the wardens will tell you in those areas where, where Christ is being preached and the Bible studies are taking place, that the inmates are more at peace as opposed to the other inmates, right?
Yeah, it would make sense. The Bible is such a transforming thing.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about saving Bikini Bottom. I didn't know Bikini Bottom needed to be saved, but I guess we need to.
Is this not the silliest title you've ever heard?
It is.
So this is a part of the SpongeBob SquarePants series, and there's characters named Bikini Bottom, just the silliest names. And all of SpongeBob's friends have been taken, and he has to go and work with another character, Sandy Cheeks. They came up with the silliest names, but he has to go save his friends. In terms of what to be cautioned. They do have, little jokes about silly things, and so just be cautious about that. But there's some good things in the movie about, standing up for your friends, and sacrificing yourself for your friends, and it's so silly.
Well,
It's so
hey,
silly.
well, when you got SpongeBob, I mean, it's not all that serious, so they're going to take liberties, and hey, it's just what it's all about. But it's entertainment, I guess, right? Just for fun. Why not?
Yeah, it's nice to have something that's just so, you could just tune out and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about everything. We just talked about the movie about the prisons. And so, you don't have to worry about that. You could just sit there and just totally tune out. And, after a long, hard day at work or something, you can just relax. And, it's, the family can watch it with you. I would probably say a little older, maybe like 8 years old and up. Just because there are some, they kind of make these jokes that boys would make about, Sandy Bottom and all that kind of stuff. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, there it is, Saving Bikini Bottom. I just remembered when I had interviewed Cuba Gooding Jr. on with Firing Squad, because he was in the movie as well, and I said that Kevin Sorbo was upset that Cuba Gooding Jr. Sang Amazing Grace, and that Kevin Sorbo wanted that, that spot, So we're just teasing back and forth. Of course, that wasn't the case, but that's a sentimental, part of that movie was when they were singing Amazing Grace. And it was, I mean, for that, the difference that it made in that prison population. Amazing, right?
Well, that song itself is so, redemptive, and can really get you kind of crying because of all the meaning towards it. And so, I love that they did that in that movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at movieguide.org, you've got an article there, how the Bible is transforming Gen Z. This is good news. What's going on?
Well, the Bible is amazing, like we've been talking.
Right.
And really, we don't realize that there's a high percentage of people that become Christian because of the Bible, just from reading the Bible. My father was one of them. That's how he became a Christian, from reading the Bible. It's such a transformative book, and so the word of the Lord. And so this is awesome to hear that 54% of Gen Zers have say that they've been transformed by the Bible. So we always say, people are always worried about the next generation and what's going on with the next generation. And, are they more atheists, or are they more, well, they're actually, and there's a lot of video footage of schools where people are, having big revivals and beautiful things. And on another note, I saw thousands of Christians in Paris praying after the Olympic opening. And so, there's always hope, and God's always working, and we can't feel, defeated, because, he reigns. And this is wonderful news to know that, Gen Z are reading the Bible, and it's up from previous years. It's higher than previous years. And so that's just a wonderful thing.
It is. Yeah, the people probably in Paris felt like they had to pray because of, that crazy depiction of the Last Supper, and some of the stuff that was being done in the opening of the Olympics. And you and I are especially sensitive to this because, we would have our kids there in front of that, opening, because it's kind of a tradition, right? And to see all the countries and the flags, and to have some of the things that were presented, from Paris, I think was just, I don't know, in bad taste. Let's just.
Yes, it was so wrong. It was so offensive. And even non-Christians say that they're, support that it's offensive. And they tried to say they were sorry, but, it is what it is. And then they called South Korea North Korea. So that was wrong too. How could you call South Korea North Korea when they're in this horrible war, right? And so there's been things that
who wrote the
are not
right. Did Joe Biden write that copy? What,
It's very offensive, but I'm glad that there was enough uproar and they felt like, oh, we didn't do this right. I hope they felt like, oh, we didn't do this right, because they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. We're not arguing with them. That's for sure. Evie Bear Carroll from Movie Guide TV. Thank you, Evie. Take care.
Other
Thanks so much.
Radio TV. Our shows are so captivating, you'll binge watch until your couch demands a family discount and your remote tries to friend you on Facebook. Don't skimp on the popcorn. Lather on that butter like it's going out of style.
BBS Radio TV, live worldwide radio and web TV productions. A place for answers. We do talk shows so well, they might just talk back.
BBS Radio TV, from metaphysical politics to 9D chess. Our shows are so mind-bending, they make ordinary candy look like broccoli.
BBS Radio TV, free, unmolested content from A to Z. We don't limit the content, and we won't limit your opinions. You get to decide what's right, what you like, and then live with it. How do you like them apples?
Okay, so you're seriously thinking about investing in gold and silver? And I don't blame you, considering our current economic condition. So the question I get asked all the time is, Bill, who can I trust? Okay, you have to know we're constantly being approached by gold investment groups, but I wanted to make sure if I was going to recommend a gold investment group to my audience, that it was someone I could trust and recommend to my own family and friends. This is why I chose the Genesis Gold Group. Their customer service and knowledge is world class. You're going to find out and see for yourself when you call Genesis Gold Group at 844-202-4252. I only trust Genesis Gold Group, and I know you will too. They're committed to getting your money back on the gold standard. So call the Genesis Gold Group today, 844-202-4252. That's 844-202-4252, or check out the website, goldwithbill.com.
BBS Radio TV. If it's not mainstream, it's on BBS Radio TV. A place for answers.